Today's show is made possible by 8 Sleep. It is the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. I'll tell you all about them later on in today's show, but do know you can get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep by going to 8sleep.com/chatsports. Today we are trying to do the ideal off-season plan. Now, I'm not using the word perfect because I think we have, and frankly, ideal is maybe stretching it too. We have passed that threshold, that timing. Mike McCarthy's back, so we're not in a great spot. So what I'm trying to do is build this as close to perfect, as close to ideal off-season plan under the mindset I want to win games now. I want to have a window that's 3 to 4, whatever years long, and potentially have a new head coach as well next year, because you're stuck with Mike for this season. So step number 1, you got to create cap space. You're somewhere between $11 and $20 million over the cap based on what site you're using. Doesn't matter. I can get under that figure with 2 moves and create even more. I can restructure Zach Martin, freeing up $12.5 and change. Trayvon Diggs, nearly $8 million. Brandon Cooks, $4.5. Terrence Steele, Donovan Wilson, nearly $5 and $3. That's a lot of money I can spend with. I can also cut Michael Gallup. Now, I got to carry his number through the post-June 1st deadline as part of that designation. It would then free up $9.5 million in salary cap space after June 1st, and now I can pay my draft class and carry some money over, and I've got a ton of money even before I have to deal with the quarterback contract. And some of you will not like number 2. But if my plan here is to try to win games now, this is my best path. And it's not even, frankly, that much of a conversation. Rebuilding, that might be a different video we'll try this offseason. Extending Dak Prescott helps you win now because it helps free up the most cap space possible, up to or around $25, $26 million. And paying Dak gives you the best shot to win football games in these next few seasons. Is it a guarantee? Absolutely not. Is it a lock? No. Is there risk? Yes. But if you don't want to rebuild and you want to win, this is your best path. How does it work with the head coach? We're already past that point, apparently. So we did break down what an in-depth Prescott extension might look like. It's available on the channel. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed. I'll make sure that video gets linked in the description of today's show as well. This one I think more will be on board with here. Number 3 is pay CeeDee Lamb. And I want to pay Lamb now because it actually saves me short-term salary cap space. Instead of paying the $17 million he's owed, I can bring that number way down and still guarantee him a ton of money. I can extend CeeDee Lamb and save up to $13.5 million in cap space. Maybe it's not the full 13.5. Maybe it's only 10. But that's still a ton of money I just saved by paying a premier player. That's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Now, I will make note, you can also pay Mike if you want to. I wonder if that might end up being more of a training camp timing move, which is fine. You still get it done. But for the offseason, doable, won't really change the salary cap. So do it at some point, but not the urgent priority necessarily. So I've got up to $50 million. Maybe it's only 40. Maybe it's only 35. You didn't restructure everybody. Either way, I've got money to spend in free agency in a way this team never wants to do. Now, some of that will go to my own players. There are other players I would like to re-sign, and that's step number 4. I want to bring back some key players. And then we're not going to go the full 6, 7, 8-man list. The 3 guys I really want to make sure I sign, though, Tyron Smith, 1-year deal, incentive-based, do not guarantee him a starting spot, or at least don't plan to not have a viable backup option. That comes as a later step, by the way. I want to bring back Hankins if he wants to still play, and I'd love to bring back Stephon Gilmore or Jordan Lewis. Maybe one of your edges, Fowler or Armstrong, but those are the top guys I'd like to find a way to keep. Now, the whole plan requires the Cowboys to spend money in free agency. Will they actually do it? Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Go vote. Y for yes, N for no. Number 1 thing I want to do, I want to add an impact defender. I think you're missing one of those, ideally along kind of more of the spine of your defense. Interior defensive line, linebacker, safety. Some names that stand out at each of the different little position groupings here, minus corner. If I'm paying Stephon Gilmore, I'm good there. I would love to get one of Justin Madubuike, Christian Wilkins, Chris Jones. Maybe Madubuike is the cheapest, so I'll put him on there. Might be pushing the boundaries of what the Cowboys would actually do. Denico Autry, underrated player, still very good. Would love to add him. Danielle Hunter, one of the top, I think, likely to reach free agency pass rushers. Tank and Micah and Hunter, and oh boy, that's a hell of a trio out there. Patrick Queen at linebacker. I think he's the best one. I don't think the Ravens will keep him. Are you going to spend the 17, 18, whatever million to get him? I don't know. But if you want the impact linebacker, Queen is the one. And I'd love to get the DT because you still don't have that guy. Kyle Duggar, it is a great safety class. The Cowboys have spent money at the safety position in recent years. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I do want to make note of it. Now, today's show is made possible by 8 Sleep. I've always slept well. My wife has not. 8 Sleep's Pod 3 cover brings heating and cooling tech that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. It will automatically automatically adjust your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like any fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. Because did you know that sleep science shows that in order to sleep our best, our body temperature needs to drop in the early and middle part of sleep and then rise in the morning. There's no better way to improve your day-to-day life than better sleep, and the easiest way is with 8 Sleep's Pod 3 cover. So go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Start the new year right and invest in the rest you deserve with the 8 Sleep Pod. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. We appreciate 8 Sleep sponsoring us here at the Cowboys Report. Number 6, I am actually on board adding an affordable running back. Look at this list of free agent backs this season. In order of the yards they had this past season: Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, Devin Singletary, Gus Edwards, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Eckler's kind of washed, Zach Moss. You are not going to find 10 teams that will pay $7 million for a back. It's not going to happen this offseason. You can find a very cheap one on a short-term deal and still draft somebody or sign 2 guys or whatever. So I think for what I think the market is going to be, I think a cheap, affordable, and good running back is in the cards. I would be fully on board doing that. Now, the other spot I kind of have to address, I think, is linebacker. If you don't want to break the bank for Patrick Queen, okay. I think you need more help here. You know, maybe this is the year for Bobby Wagner, who still makes all the tackles you could ever want. I think Azeez Al-Shaair is an awesome idea. I wanted him last year. Still played pretty well in Tennessee. Is not going to break the bank. Lavonte David is a better football player, I'd argue by a massive margin, than Devin White is, and might even be cheaper. Other veterans, Frankie, Luvu, Jordan Hicks, with what you saw at linebacker, do you want to enter the year with a coming off torn ACL DeMarvion Overshown, Damone Clark hoping he learns instincts and gets way better, and undersized safeties? Or undersized linebackers who were once safeties? I don't. You can get a good veteran linebacker on a cheap deal, with or without adding Patrick Queen. Now, if you want to, I can also sign more offensive line depth, more receiver depth, another defender as well. God, I'd love a safety, but even I am going to be realistic on this one here. I'd kill for Antoine Winfield on the team. It's just not going to happen. It's not a great receiver class, though, which that's kind of why I want to fill some other needs, because maybe I'd take a receiver on day 2 or round 1 if someone I love falls to me. So when it comes to free agency, who is your realistic dream free agent targets? Please do not put T. Higgins in there. They're just not going to break the bank for T. Higgins. Sound off for me in the comments section. Now, all values being equal on your board, I would like to go offensive line early. I think that is a good idea for what I think the board will play out. If it plays out differently, great. That's going to be step 9 in a moment. But some offensive line targets here. Amarius Mims, Tyler Guyton, Jordan Morgan, J.C. Latham, Taliese Fuaga, Kingsley Suamaitaia, Patrick Paul. Round 1, round 2, you can get a good offensive tackle if that's the route you choose to go. Maybe you want to ride with, Tyron Smith, Tyler Smith, T.J. Bash trio on the left side of the line for a year. That might work too. You could go interior line. Jackson Powers Johnson, Graham Barton can play center. Troy Fautanu can play left guard for you if you want to put Tyler Smith back at left guard. If the values are equal, if there isn't a surprise slider, I think offensive line in round 1, maybe round 2, is a great fallback, quote-unquote, option for the Cowboys. Who do you want to take in the NFL draft? Go ahead and sound off for me in the comment section. Drop that prospect you got in mind. Number 9, as much as I possibly can, I want to set myself up to go pure best player available in all rounds. And because here's the way I view it. Whatever position you're staring down the barrel of here, take them. You want a running back. You know what? If there's a guy you want on day 3, that's in no particular order, that's one of your top needs, kind of sorted by position here. Running back, cool, take one. You got no good guys under contract right now. You want another, wide receiver? You can make Tolbert your receiver 4 again and ride with high draft pick, Lamb and Cooks. Great. Offensive line, we just talked about. Defensive line, hey, Osa's got 1 year left on his contract. Don't overly commit to him. Maybe you get Malachi Smith back up to weight, which is a big part, by the way. Get him back up to weight. Edge rusher, you got Micah and maybe Sam Williams long term. You can go edge. Linebacker, we've discussed. Corner, you got Trayvon Diggs under contract long term. That's kind of it. Compare someone with Bland. With or without Gilmore, you're probably going to do a shorter deal for Gilmore, right? Safety. You know how I feel about safety. I would love to draft a highly paid one. Remember, if I had been in charge of the draft last year, I was taking Brian Branch. Dallas was not, obviously. But Jaron Kearse, I don't think he's going to come back. You can add a safety if you want to as well. Finally, feed Rowdy to the Hogs. You think I'm kidding, but I'm actually not. Because last year on this plan, step 10 was cancel Rowdy and put Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor. They listened on half of step number 10. Half of the curse remains. Get rid of Rowdy right now. So grade my ideal as possible off-season plan. I'm not going to give it an A. I think it's a B because I'm kind of limited by your lack of head coaching change. How would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? Go ahead and vote for me in the comments.